Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in my video today I will be continuing on with my beauty basics series, and this video is all about foundation, how to match your foundation, what brushes to use with your foundation, undertones, shades, all that good stuff, and what to do if you've got like different levels of skin color throughout your body. Don't mind my voice, I am low-key sick as fuck right now and we just gonna continue with it. I'm in the process of bleaching my hair, so don't mind the ginge, right meow. Anyways, I first wanted to kind of address the what brushes to use with your foundation question. There's a lot of different ways that you can apply your foundation. You can apply it with a beauty blender or a sponge. You can apply it with a flat foundation brush like this. This one is not really my favorite method because I find that it gets a little bit streaky in my foundation, so I don't really like to use this. I use this more for like body painting and stuff. This is my preferred method to apply foundation. I find that this brush is dense enough that I can build up my product, build up my foundation easy enough, and also I can buff it into the skin, which I like. This one will give you more of like a full coverage foundation, but it is very difficult to clean, so I don't really use this one as much. And this one's pretty nice. It's a little bit more like there's a little bit more give to the brush, so you can get more of like a natural finish with your foundation with this sort of brush, but also you can buff into the skin with this type of brush. The level of denseness in the brush is going to give you more coverage in your foundation. The flimsier the brush bristles, the less coverage you'll get with your foundation. So that is the brush situation. Next, determining your undertone. I will share with you guys how I do that, and then I'll apply some foundation so you can see what it looks like, see different swatches along my neck. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that. So the first step for determining your foundation color would be to figure out what is your undertone. Most people that I have found that I've worked on personally, from my experience in working in Sephora, most people that I know have a yellow undertone or like a neutral undertone. I haven't really come across a true like red undertone or like pink undertones. To be honest, they're not as common as like yellow or neutral undertones. For most people, they will have like a yellow-ish undertone. I definitely have a yellow undertone. I'm not wearing any foundation right now. And the easiest way to check your undertone would be, from my experience, this might not work for everybody, this is just my personal experience, is to kind of look at the inside of your wrist, and also just kind of looking at like your chest area as well. For me, you can tell that I definitely have a yellow undertone. I'll insert some photos of what a true like pink undertone looks like in a light-skinned person and what a red undertone looks like in a dark-skinned person. Yeah, just so you guys have some sort of reference. I'll also insert some photos of different undertones as well, just so you guys can see the difference between pink, yellow, neutral, and like the red undertones. Some people I have worked on as well will tell me that they've got like a blue or green undertone. There ain't no damn thing as a blue-green undertone. You ain't no motherfucking alien, let me tell you that. In most cases, they will have like a yellow undertone, which gives it more of that greeny blue hue. To determine your undertone, if you go into your local Sephora or Ulta or whatever else you have available. They should be able to check what your undertone is there. I know personally from my experience at working at Sephora, they do have this little color IQ device. It's a little machine that takes 3 photos of your skin and tells you your undertone as well as the shade that you are on like the color scale that they've got going on. And then you can just like type in that number and then it will provide you with all the foundations that are going to be either a perfect match or very close to a perfect match. So I will do some swatches of a few foundations that I have. You can see the difference between what like a yellow based undertone, a red based undertone, and like a pink based undertone will look like on my skin tone. I definitely have a yellow skin tone, and you can kind of see that one of them is going to blend in pretty well to my skin tone and the rest are going to be really noticeably not my skin color. So I'll do some close-ups of that for you guys. For me personally, I like to swatch my foundations when I swatch them along this area here, because for me usually it's more noticeable in the summertime, but my face tends to be a bit lighter than the rest of my body because I put a lot of sunscreen on it. And yeah, so I want to match it to my neck. Okay, so we're gonna do some swatches now. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys some swatches along my neck. For me, I'm having actually quite a hard time finding a perfect foundation match because number one, I am too broke to go and buy a new foundation, so I'm just using what I have. And number two, none of it really matches my skin tone. So you will see that in a second. So we're going to start by that. You know, that is just too motherfucking dark. And that is got definitely more of like a reddy undertone, so you can see that right away that it's not going to be a match for me. This is actually a foundation I usually wear in the summertime, and it usually matches quite well. So you can see that the undertone is a lot better, but it's just not the right shade. It's a bit too dark for me right now. But definitely the undertone is way better than the first swatch there. So we're getting a little bit closer here. It's not quite the right shade. I usually mix this and another one together to make a shade. So that again is very pink on my skin tone. I don't know if you guys can really see that. It sort of looks like a little bit ashy on my skin. I'm not like super dark or anything, but it just does not look great. Obviously too light. It has more of a yellow undertone to it though, so that is good. And lastly, this one here is a fairly good match. It is what I've been using. It's a tiny bit darker than my skin tone right now, but I just sort of blend it and it fades away nicely. So let me show you guys closer. So this is closer so you guys can see red, yellow undertone but too dark, more of like a pink undertone in both of these, too light, and the one that matches best. So now that you have determined your foundation, we gonna just put that all up on it. I particularly like this brush because I find it is quite dense and it's really good for buffing. This is the Bare Minerals Smoothing Face brush. And yeah, I just sort of apply it in downward strokes and also buff it into the skin. When I get underneath my eye, I usually sort of like pat it out. And then for my forehead, because I have like a little bit more hair, I usually try not to like lift it up. I always try and go downwards and buff it that way as well. If you have a lot of hair, it usually will sort of like catch onto it and be a little bit more noticeable. So that's why I try to avoid that. And then I also bring it down my neck just slightly. This way you won't get like, if it's not a complete match, you'll be able to sort of blend it into the rest of your skin a little bit more. So that is how I apply my foundation. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face, and then I will share some tips and tricks with you guys. So something else that's important for your foundation would be matching it up to your skin type. This is something that I think a lot of people look over or don't really take into consideration. Knowing your skin type is important because you want to find the foundation that is going to work with your skin type. Say for example, you've got really dry skin. A matte finish foundation or like a powder foundation would not really, I would not recommend that with your skin type because it is going to emphasize on your dryness in the skin. It's going to emphasize and pick up the dry bits of your skin, and it's just not going to look very good. It's going to sit on top of your skin and just not look nice. And in opposition, if you've got really oily skin, dewy foundations might not be the best choice. You can certainly get away with it for like shorter periods of time, but if you're going to be wearing it for like a night out or like all day, I would definitely not recommend getting a dewy finish foundation because you'll just look like an oil slick at the end of the day. So knowing your skin type is very important. You want to make sure that you take care of your skin properly and prep it before you apply your foundation so that the foundation will sit better and look nicer and look natural like it is your own skin. Yeah, so look at the verbiage on the packaging. A lot of like dewy finishes will say like luminous or silk or dewy finish, some of them might say. Any type of verbiage like that, and if you've got oily skin, probably not your best bet, and vice versa. Another thing that I have encountered while working at Sephora was, what do you do if you've got different tones throughout your face? So this kind of, I find, more so applies to, usually with people who have like a darker skin tone, they'll have a variety of skin tone colors throughout their face and their neck. Some people will be very dark on like the outer portions and have like a natural highlight, or like have like patches of darkness, or their neck will be really dark and their face will be really light, or vice versa. In that situation, it's a little bit more difficult with trying to find a foundation, and I know it can be quite a challenge. So my advice would be to find a foundation that's going to give you like an overall. If you've got a lot of like patchiness throughout your skin, what I would recommend would be to do some swatches along the neck. Then that way you will match more so throughout the rest of your body. It'll be more in unison and look better. With darker skin tones too, what you want to take into consideration is to make sure that you get the right undertone. If you have like a warm tone and you go with something that's cool, it will look ashy, it will show up gray, and it won't look good. So yeah, you want to make sure that you find out what your undertone is, and the easiest way to do that would be to go to a Sephora, an Ulta, someplace like that can match you to a foundation and give you some recommendations. Something else that I found quite interesting when working in Sephora was that a lot of Asian clients liked to have foundation that was lighter than their skin tone. They want to appear like brighter or more luminous, more doll-like. You usually see with a lot of Asian clients or Asian people, they tend to go a little bit lighter, and that's totally cool too. My suggestion would be to go one shade lighter, not like 5 or something ridiculous, because then it will just look a little bit too like strange and like you're trying to be a geisha or something, which is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that, I ain't hating. But if you're wanting it for like everyday, I would say 1 to 2 shades lighter if you like to go with like a lighter foundation color. Another suggestion would be to get samples of a foundation. This is a little bit more easy to do at like a Sephora or like a MAC or something like that. They usually send you home with like a sample so you can try it out for a few days, make sure that it is the right color, go out into like natural light so you can see how it wears. Also, something else that is quite important to consider, more so for people who have oily skin types, would be oxidization. What oxidization is that the oxygen will mesh with the foundation and it usually kind of changes the color slightly. Usually it will make it darker. So definitely make sure that you grab some samples before purchasing. Foundation is quite expensive and can be quite an investment. So you want to make sure that you get it right. I think that's pretty much it, all that I have for matching your foundation. If I missed anything, please let me know, or if you've got any more questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will try my best to address that when I do a concealer beauty basics video, or I might do like a part 2 foundation video if I have a lot of things that I feel like I need to add. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for my sickness. I've been kind of chilling for like a week. Also, I've been on a Hunter x Hunter binge. Oh my god, that anime is lit though. Killua and Gone. I love that anime. It is so good. And I'm almost finished and I'm so sad. If you guys haven't seen Hunter x Hunter, you should go check it out because it's fucking amazing. I really just wish that I could be a hunter. If I could pick anybody from an anime that I feel I would most be like, it'd be Killua. Killua, for sure. Killua and Gon are like pretty even. I have bouts of both of them within me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer them for you. And make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. I hope that you found this video helpful and useful to you in some sort of way, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!